So my wife, my wife is usually the one that cooks for the house, you know. Um, but she just started working full time, and now I gotta cook. So um, kitchen's a little dirty, but I have an idea. I'm gonna make some steak quesadillas. So here's the meat that I'm gonna use. I'm actually using some skirt steak. I only bought half a pound, so not a lot. But my dad taught me this marinade that you could do on this. So I'm just gonna stick it in the marinade. I'm not gonna actually let it sit there very long, just because I don't have a lot of time. So I only have like 20 minutes, and I gotta cook it quickly. So if you only have 20 minutes, if you only have 20 minutes, this is the perfect recipe for you. So we're gonna marinate it in some fajita seasoning and some lime and some oranges, and we're gonna stick it on cast iron skillet and go from there. Okay, so now it's time for the marinade. A little fajita seasoning right here, lemon pepper. And now that I think about it, we probably only need half of this and maybe one of these. So that's what we're gonna do. Got a bowl here. Give it a little squirt. Dang, that's a lot of juice. Okay. Don't worry about that. Like that. Again, like I said, we don't have a lot of time here. Dang, you saw how juicy these are? Okay. And these got a little bit of fat. My mom always said to cut this off, but my mom's not here. So we'll just cut a little bit off. Now, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm just gonna put a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit on that meat, a bit on this meat. I don't know what I'm doing, so we're just doing what feels right. And this feels right. I'm putting it on here. It's gonna come off anyways, so why does this even, whatever. Okay, look at that. Look at that. So the last time I did this, I soaked this in here for about like, I don't know, 8 hours. And I had like 2 pounds of meat. And I soaked it in there for about 2 hours with this same seasonings. And this is just the red fajita seasoning that I got from the meat market. That looks good right there. I don't know what happens when you let it sit in there longer, but it tastes really good. So ideally you would let this sit for, I don't know, a long time. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it sit like 5 minutes while that gets hot, and then we'll go from there. Why is it smoking? It stopped smoking, and it looks like it has a nice little glaze. So I'm just gonna roll with it. If you know what I'm doing wrong, please, please, please let me know. All right, so meat's going in there. Looks good. We're just gonna throw that on there. Ooh, we got that sizzle. So I don't know if I seasoned it right, but one thing I do know is it's not sticking, so, that's good. It's not sticking. And it seems to be cooking okay. Okay, so now I'm just gonna check the temperature. Let's see what that reads. Oh, that's hot. That's real hot. Ooh. All right. That should be fine. I just wanted to hit 145. It's passing that up nicely. So yeah, it should be good to go. So there's our meat. Our meat hit 145 in temperature, and I'm just gonna let this sit here. Something about letting it rest. I don't know. It does something to the meat. I don't know. That's what they tell me. That's what my dad said. Just let it sit for a little bit. And so that's what I'm gonna do. But we're gonna get started on the tortillas. I was gonna make like tortillas from scratch, but it's too complicated and I don't have enough time. So we're gonna go with these prepackaged ones. And I also forgot to buy cheese. So we're just gonna use some mozzarella that I had laying around. So this is the first quesadilla, ready to go. I'm gonna do 2 more of these, and then I'm gonna move on to some homemade salsa. Just gonna use 1 tomato and, 1 tomato and 1 serrano pepper. So let me show you how I do that. All right, so I've waited long enough. There's my tomato. Actually, I'm gonna do Serrano first, and it's nice and soft. And what I do is I just throw it in here and smush it about. Put a little salt in there. Oh my God, that's a lot of salt. Whatever. Put your tomato in there. Careful, it might squirt out on you. That looks good. And we're just gonna mix that about. Ho, ho, ho. So when you make this, you really want to wait for it to get really soft. Well, that's what my mom tells me anyways, you know. She says wait until it's nice and charred and everything's basically falling off, and then you can put it in here and start smashing it down. However, if you got a little bit of strength in you, it doesn't matter. You put it in here and you press it down as hard as you can. And if you're strong enough, it'll come out looking right. Do a little taste test here. Let's give this a little taste. I already put a bunch of salt, so. Spicy. Perfect. Okay, so this took way longer than I wanted it to, and it didn't really come out how I was expecting it to, but here we are. So let's cut this open. Hopefully it's a little pink on the inside. And am I getting too close? And yeah, let's see how it turned out. So what? How are you supposed to cut this? Supposed to cut against the grain or something like that? So you tell me, is that too pink or is that? I can't tell. That looks pretty good to me. So don't touch that. Okay. I get a new spoon. Look at that. Look at that. Let's get our first quesadilla out. I wish I didn't use mozzarella because mozzarella is really sticky. It's already dry. Anyways, we're gonna put this meat in here. Ooh, that looks good. That looks really good. Put some salsa in there. Close this up. And there you have it. It's a little quesadilla for you. Let's give this a taste. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. I wish it was a little more spicy. The Serrano is not as spicy. That's the same with this. With the Serranos, like sometimes you get one and it's hella spicy. And sometimes you can't even taste it at all. Anyways, that's a little meal. Sorry, that's disgusting. That's a little meal that I cooked up. I usually make this. I usually make fajitas when my wife's at work. She doesn't like cooking fajitas, so I'm usually the one that cooks these. But this is her salsa. You know, she usually makes this one. That one's really good. She usually makes homemade tortillas, which I'm kind of sad that I didn't have. But I mean, these will do. But yeah, check out her stuff. Her recipes are pretty cool. But yeah, this is my first go at making some quesadillas while everyone's at my son's at school and my wife's at work. So there we go.